want to talk to a little bit about Portland and what's been taking place there. We know about the shooting that took place over the weekend and the carnage over the course of the last 3 months. So the guy we have with us on the line right now, his name is Gabriel Johnson, and we had him on last month because he made national news. He lives right there in downtown Portland, and he walked outside with his American flag, doing some patriotic things. He was doing absolutely nothing wrong, and he was basically attacked, and that's why it made national news. And now here we are, Gabriel, a month later, and things have even gotten worse. And my understanding is you saw a shooting. Right, you heard the shooting, and then you walked outside your home right after. First of all, Gabriel, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Gabriel?
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm doing good. I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
Sure, appreciate it. So, Gabriel, can you talk to me a little bit first about this shooting and how far you actually live from this shooting?
Yeah. Let me try to bring everything into context because there's a reason. I guess for my madness, but it actually started on Friday because, all the events that are happening, it seems like daily, and riots nightly. I really wanted to try to draw a stark comparison to what's really going on. And so Friday we had an NAACP March on Portland, rally, protest, whatever you want to call it. Went off, no problem, no hitches, no protests, no nothing. Knowing that on Saturday we're going to roll into the Trump rally that started in one of the suburbs of Portland, Clackamas, Oregon, and then was going to do a big loop around the freeway around downtown. Mm-hmm. Well, we, and I say we because I was texting with a friend of mine, and we're watching the rally. We're watching part of the rally that got diverted that went through downtown. And we noticed that after these people had passed through, one of the local ABC affiliate went off the air. The local CBS affiliate that was covering the event went off the air.
Right.
The live streams went off the air. And so, mind you, it's dusk, right? An hour later, I hear the gunshots. And so I really want to draw the attention to when the event ended, and it was a peaceful event, with the exception of the video clip that everybody sees with two big trucks, fogging some people with spray. But I'm telling you, those vehicles were at the end of the rally, and those vehicles had nothing to do with this man getting shot. So, roll you an hour. Once everything's over, I'm sitting on my couch and I hear what I know is gunshots, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, this isn't right." I hear a couple fireworks go off, right? And I get a call or I get a text from one of my friends in law enforcement and said, "Hey, someone just died 4 blocks from your house."
Wow!
So
4 blocks away from where you live. That's crazy.
4 blocks.
Wow.
So I decided to go out and I really, really wanted to get the information for myself firsthand because this just happened, and this is a major event, regardless of who died.
Sure.
This really puts the exclamation point on things, and so I went out and spent about 2 hours talking to local police, news media in the area, and just surveying the, kind of the landscape. And, kind of immediately it was very, very prevalent that, people were excited, people were happy. And I say people, and I'm going to specifically Antifa and BLM. Mm-hmm. Protesters were really happy about this.
So can I ask you, Gabriel? So let's get to that. So you walk outside your place, as you mentioned, it's 4 blocks away from where the shooting happened in Portland. How close are you to where this man's body is on the ground, where you actually hear people cheering and joyful, which, by the way, I think is completely disgusting. How close are you to actually where they're working on this man's body? Because I would imagine you actually caught up to the situation, 5-10 minutes after the shooting happened?
Yeah. Yeah. They had police vehicles around the body, so you couldn't see it was there.
Right.
But it's in the middle of the street, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And again, it's 4 blocks.
Right.
It's straight down from my house. So
what are people saying?
They were saying, I'm not sad that a fascist Nazi died tonight.
Right.
And that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, a man got shot in the street, right? Regardless. Man, woman, or child, regardless, got shot in the street. We don't know him as a Nazi. We don't know him as a fascist.
Yeah, we don't know a lot. We don't know a lot. Yeah, correct. We don't know a lot about the circumstance of the shooting. We don't know a lot about his background, and I'm assuming that stuff will come out. But for people to assume that and to be making statements like that is idiotic and disgusting.
They're assuming that because he was with the Trump caravan, and in their mind, anyone who supports Donald Trump is a Nazi and a fascist.
Okay, well, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way.
They feel, a lot of people, obviously, in downtown Portland,
I despise
BLM and Antifa. And then, by the way, the guy that shot him had a BLM tattoo on his neck.
Okay, so I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
All I will say is I could tell you that, in my personal opinion, the majority of those that are the peaceful protesters in BLM would not be acting that way, and it's sad that there are people in Portland that are doing that. Okay, Gabriel, so continue. What do you see after that? You show up there, you hear a couple people, joyful that this man is dead. What happens next?
Well, I'm not going to say a couple people. We're talking crowds of people.
Right.
Hundreds of people, not just a couple. Mm-hmm. So, what happens next, I get home, and the first thing that I see is black man shot by Trump supporter in Portland, Oregon.
Which is not true.
And I'm thinking to myself,
yeah,
I don't know what news they're reading, where they're getting this from.
Yeah.
But, one of the things you have news reporters that are on the ground that work for major publications as contract journalists that are putting this out, and I couldn't believe it. And it was the New York Times that did a retraction a couple hours later after they found out that the person wasn't black. And so we want it to be. We want to see black people dead in the street, and people are, they get almost disappointed. It's like, oh, it was a prayer warrior, so he deserved it.
Well, that's
you're saying that they wanted to have an overreaction. They wanted to have some massive response to an African American being killed by a quote unquote fascist.
Listen, all I can tell you is this, Gabriel, is that when we had the October 1 shooting here in Las Vegas, there were a lot of reports that were wrong. For example, there were some radio hosts that said Muslims did it and it was a terrorist attack. So I'm not going to say that any major networks or professional journalists wanted a black person to die. I will say that there's a lot of information or misinformation that gets out there during breaking news. Luckily, all the major networks, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, none of them reported that a black man was shot and killed. And I'm glad that the New York Times was able to retract it. Sadly, you're right. You see things on Twitter, you see things on social media. All it takes is one person with any sort of credibility at all to put out wrong information, and then everybody else goes with it. So obviously that wasn't the case. It was a white person that killed a white person. And I guess that's all we know right now. But I guess moving on to my next question, Gabriel, when we had you on last month, things were pretty bad down there, right? It seems to me that things have gotten even worse. Now you have somebody dead. Again, you live 4 blocks away. You're right in the thick of things where this is going on. To the life of me, I don't understand why there is not more of a police presence out there. What is the mayor saying? What have you heard? Why can't we get I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. Why can't we get these agitators off the streets? I just don't understand it.
Well, there were other jurisdictions that wanted to help Portland Police Department months ago. And the mayor, the city council, the governor were all against it.
Well, that's idiotic.
Idiotic, right? And so over the weekend, the governor comes out with this unified policing plan, for Portland, which encompasses all of the partner agencies in the metro area. All refuse to help the governor because we have a DA who does not believe in prosecuting crimes that happen during the protests. And so it's gotten so far that the U.S. Marshals had to deputize the Oregon State Police to be able to charge and prosecute protesters in federal court versus state court.
And a lot of them actually have been arrested and prosecuted. But the guy that shot Aaron Danielson, his name is Michael Reinold, he was actually arrested twice during protests or riots on gun charges, released both times. And I've read that that's happened literally hundreds of times, where people they're in the middle of what's called a protest, they commit a crime, and they're right on the streets the next day. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about.
Well, they're right on the street the same day,
right?
Let alone the next day. So yeah, I mean that's exactly what I'm saying is that right now we have a atmosphere where there's no police. I mean, there's limited police. I've got a friend who works for PPB. She says that she comes in every morning for work, and she's already 20, 30 calls stacked up on her just in the night because
that's insane.
There's no officer.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm with you. It's ridiculous. And like I said, I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care whether you're Trump supporters or Antifa. I want all the violent idiots off the streets. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Gabriel Johnson. He lives literally 4 blocks away from where this man was shot the other day in Portland. I mean, I don't even know where to start as far as what is it like for you on a daily. I'm sure during the day everything's fine, but when the sun goes down, I would imagine people like yourself, maybe families out there, law-abiding citizens, they're afraid to leave their house. I would be afraid to walk outside during this stuff.
There's definitely times of day where you don't go, outside, and me and my neighbors, we joke about it. We'll send each other messages and like, hey, did you go to the grocery store? Because it's going to be a crazy weekend. You might not want to leave. Right. Why are we joking about that? Because it's a real thing, right? You order your groceries in, you order your food in because you avoid the street, at night or when you hear people chanting, a block or two away.
God, that is just unbelievable. I don't even know. It's like you're living in a war zone right now. Okay, so the mayor has said that he is going to be moving to avoid rioters. He's moving forward, but I don't even know what that means. Do you have any idea what that means? Because according to Fox News this morning, he has made some statements. Again, the mayor of Portland saying that he will be moving forward to avoid rioters. Why didn't he move forward 5 months ago?
No, he's moving his home, Brian.
Oh, no, he's literally moving.
Yeah, he's actually moving into a new condo.
Okay, okay. Well, to me, when I read that, I thought that he was moving forward and doing some. I'm reading. I guess I assumed that the mayor was going to be doing.
He's
something.
Relocating his residence, Brian.
Okay, well that's absurd. I don't even know what to say there. That is absurd. You understand, Gabriel, that when I read that, I actually thought that meant he was moving forward with more. More police or maybe more regulations.
I read the same article, I think, so I know what you meant. Yeah. He's moving, and he's moving forward with now wanting to prosecute and curtail the violence and the protests that are happening day in and day out. Well, you're 95 days too late. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. This is a very sad situation. I think it's a situation that should be avoidable. And like I said again, I don't like it when people play politics when it comes to this stuff. And what I mean by that is this. I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care whether you're a Trump supporter or not. If you're an agitator or if you're doing anything, whether you're Antifa or whether you're somebody shooting paintballs at people and a Trump supporter, I don't care. I don't care what your affiliation is. These people are agitators, and they need to go. Everybody should be allowed to peacefully protest. I'm sure you would agree, Gabriel. There's nothing wrong, but the problem is that we just don't have all peaceful protesters in Portland, and we don't have people on the other side that are all peaceful as well. Get these bastards off the streets. I don't care what their political affiliation is, Gabriel, and I would imagine that you would agree with me on that.
They're all hate groups, so
right.
That I think that says it, and the crimes that are being that are happening are hate crimes. This man died because of a hate crime on the street.
Yeah, and again, I before I make that claim, and I understand where you're going with that, and that very well might be true. But before I make that claim on the radio, I want to make sure that there's an investigation, and I want to know exactly what led up to it. I saw the video 100 times, but again, we still don't know everything that took place.
And there's a new video out, Brian, that shows it's not just a hate crime, but it's clearly coordinated.
If you do some reading on Antifa and the Patriot Warriors and Proud Boys and the Portland metro area, it's documented all of the violence that they've had back and forth.
Agree.
These guys don't like each other.
I agree. Gabriel, I agree. And that, by the way, that's why the police department tried to stop that Trump caravan from coming in. They knew what was going to happen. I agree with you. I want them all off the streets. Well, listen, Gabriel, I appreciate you coming on, and I'm sorry that you have to go through. You've done absolutely nothing wrong, and you served this country honorably, and the fact that you have to deal with this nonsense as someone that risked his own life so that people like us could do a radio show. I'm sorry that you have to go through this. I hope it ends soon. I'm not sure. Maybe if there's anything good, and not a lot, if anything good comes out of the fact that one man died, it's that maybe that will be a wake-up call to this idiot mayor and to these politicians, if anything. But it's too bad that it had to come to this. Gabriel, please stay safe out there, my friend, and we'll have you on the show again. Hopefully, I'm hoping not to have to talk about the carnage that's taking place in your own city. Please stay safe, my friend, and I do appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gabriel.
Here's a man, Gabriel Johnson, who served this country honorably, right?